The frustrating thing about last night is that the players did everything they could. Ollie was the one who made the mistake. Stratton had no business being pulled after the 7th. What do you think?
I kind of agree with Brendan Schaefer on this one, though. I like the argument. It's a fun debate. Was anybody saying that
At the
as
time?
he was pulled? That's all I'm saying.
No. And Stratton hadn't. He's been okay. He's been pretty good. He hadn't pitched in a number of days, and he came in, clean inning, struck out one. So maybe, I thought, did we run him back out there? We're probably going to see Gio. My question is, Gio has given up damage and then more damage. And after the home run, are you thinking maybe get him out of there? But Ollie was pretty clear that, he's been good in the 8th. And as much as people point to the blow-ups with Gio, and there's been a lot of them, he's also had some really good moments, too. Last night was awful. That was a heartbreaking.
That was.
That was a game, too. Like, before the game, the Cardinals felt like it was sort of everything headed in the right direction, still a lot of ground to make up.
Yep.
You're still way below 500, but they're punching back, to use Ollie's term, which is something they hadn't done. And then last night they punch back, and then it
Down
all
by
goes.
3,
It all
get
goes.
back.
So I'll be honest. I had done my hits, and I'm downstairs in this little lounge watching on a monitor, getting ready to go out and interview Goldie. That was going to be my interview. So I text, hey, I tell the producer I'm going to get Goldie. I'm thinking about it, and then I look at
You jinxed him.
Uh-oh.
You jinxed him.
Uh-oh.
What inning was that?
I must have done a lot of jinxing this year, Charlie.
Cash.
Done a lot of jinxing.
That's like when you're winning your bet at halftime and you tweet about it. You're always going to lose that bet.
Yeah.
No, I didn't tweet about it. I didn't go public, but that's how you have to work it out. You have to, as you know, as a longtime television journalist, you have to let producers know where you're going and who you're getting.
I've never called myself a journalist, though.
I don't know, call myself regional cable journalist as a mockery.
Here's this Cardinals team that, people may disagree with me, but at the end of the day, I try to be an optimist. I really do. And that's why when the Cardinals won 2 days ago, I'm so used to the Cardinals winning. I moved here in 2008. The Cardinals never lose. I'm so used to good Cardinals baseball that this shocks me so much when they're bad that I keep thinking that this is just going to end and they're going to go on a run. And 2 days ago, I just thought again, maybe. They beat a good team. They beat a good pitcher. Are they going to win this series? Are they going to go on a run just like they did a month ago? They were beating good teams then. Maybe you beat the Astros. You beat the Yankees. And it was one step forward, and it's one step back, and could be 2 steps back tonight. And at the end of the day, I've said this, I don't think that Ollie Marmol has done a great job with the team this year. That being said, I think it's more on the front office, and we can question all of Ollie's decision-making. The entire pitching staff is bad. I'm saying as a group. Are there some good ones in there that are having nice years? Sure. In its entirety, Ollie has a lot of bad options that he's going to, and he's having to pick between good relievers that are tired, lesser relievers that are rested. All I'm saying is, and we should listen to the postgame. I thought it was fascinating last night. I watched it twice. I brought my wife over.
How long is it?
Probably 5 minutes, but I think it's worth it.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, I don't think Ollie's done a great job this year. That being said, they have the 22nd ERA in baseball as a staff, 4.46. This is a bottom third pitching staff. We all know the rotation is worse, but the relievers aren't that great either. So they did not address pitching at all in the offseason. Zero. I'm talking zero for the major league team. Zero. No starters, no relievers.
And look what happened last night. So Michaelis, who has had rough first innings, gives up a few runs, and it's like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then he settles in. And the Cardinals come back with offense. They punch back. Then Palante comes in, can't find his control, bases loaded, 3-0 count, and he comes back to strike out the guy. And you're thinking, this game, This is a W. This is a W. Then it gets to the later innings, and the bullpen blows it. So it was really a heartbreaking loss because so many things seemed like it was headed toward a Cardinal win.
How's Arenado? What happened? Back spasm?
Yeah, he had it tightened up on him a couple of games earlier, and it locked up on him. And Arenado has been
hitting,
been crushing the ball.
Yeah, man, crushing
I
it.
think we had a stat his OPS was like 9 42 or something over his last 18, using the whole field. Feels like his stroke is locked in. So that's the other thing, too. Like Arenado and Goldie, homer in the same game for the first time all year. Everything's good. Nope, at the end it isn't.
Is that the first time all year?
Yeah, that they homered in a game together. Yes.
Wow.
Well, here's Arenado's 3-run homer.
And now with a full count, the next is on the way. Swing, drive, hammer toward left. Get up, baby. It's gone, and we're tied 3-3.
That was a
Little
good
Mike
call.
Shannon there.
That was a good call. That was a good call. I liked it.
You want to hear Ollie's post? Let's hear
Let's
Ollie's
hear it.
post.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
you
let's
guys
do it.
got to vote, you three, right now. All right, we playing all 5 minutes or not?
Just play it and see how it goes.
Just listen.
Just
I'll tell you when I get out of it. When it's something really awkward for the organization, I'll say dump out of it.
All right, here you go. We're playing all 5 minutes from the beginning.
Yeah, didn't get it in enough or up enough, and it goes a long ways.
Were you short Hicks tonight? Were you down a couple guys up there tonight?
No.
Okay, I was just based on the way that the sequencing happened through the bullpen throughout that game. Palante for that spot, for example. Just was curious if you found yourself in a spot where you were trying to lengthen the guys you had in that as that game played out.
Run me what was odd about it.
Just two. Palante comes in and faces the righties with 2 outs as opposed to maybe Stratton in that spot, for instance, right then forward from there.
Yeah, Stratton's arsenal pitches there against both Altuve and Bregman. Are my favorite. Both of those guys have a good chance of getting him in the air and going a long ways. I'd rather keep him in the ballpark with Palante. If you look at Altuve, he's 2 for 2 with the 2,500 against him. If you look at Bregman, I think he's 3 for 4 against Stratton. I'd rather keep him on the ground with Palante. And if he can't get those 2, he's got Tucker, who I feel pretty confident he can get. So, no, I wasn't short any guys.
We've seen 2 different versions of Gio. When he's good, he's effective. This is his 3rd game this season where he's allowed 2 home runs in an inning. What, in your opinion, is the difference when Gio is effective and when he's getting tapped?
How he mixes his pitches is a decent part of it, and then he left it down the middle. I mean, you do that at this level, it goes a long ways. So, yeah, if you look at Hicks being in the 9 and him being in the 8th, it's last several outings, 4 or 5 outings, he's been really good for us. So he's got the 8th inning. Yeah.
How hard has it been to get your bullpen firing all at once? It seems
They
like
haven't, and that's part of it. I mean, you look at it, we've blown a lot of leads after the 7th, and you give different people an opportunity at it, and it just hasn't gone well. So you score 7, you have to win a ball game, bottom line.
Is your frustration extra with the Maldonado double given the way the at-bat went with Myers immediately before?
Yeah, we walked the 8 hole 3 times today.
Did you consider going and getting Gio after the home run so that maybe the second one didn't come? Was there a consideration to pull him there before the second home run?
Yeah, if you would have told me the second homer was coming, I definitely would have taken him out.
It's happened 3 times this year now.
And how many times has it not happened? I mean, we can bring Cabby in for Tucker there. Tucker's been much better against left-handers this year. He's got over 1,000 OPS. He's got a 6 and change against righties. And if Cabby doesn't get Tucker, do you like the Abreu bat? The answer is no. So, I mean, in hindsight, you can ask however you want to ask it, but we shouldn't even got to that point. Yeah.
When you use the matchups and the data that you have so readily available, how do you, as a manager, weigh what the numbers are saying and then what an in-game situation may or may not be calling for?
Yeah, the numbers don't make a decision for you. They never will. It's a matter of you're watching the game. You're watching what guys have done. You know who has confidence, who doesn't, who's feeling right, who's not feeling right. And you make your decisions based on what you're seeing live. Numbers are there to inform decisions. That's pregame. You know all this data pregame, and you go into the game already knowing everything we just talked about. You're reading the game and using your eyes. What's the follow-up to that?
I was just wanting to know, because every manager is different, how you weigh those decisions and come to your own decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let him in.
That's somebody's
Yeah, there's
locked
a
out.
hostage in
Someone
there.
back in the kitchen
Oh, yeah.
banging pots or something.
Order ready.
Screw it. Bring back Matheny. 3 and 4.
Woo, and Schilt.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, and Lance Lynn and his 7 ERA.
I like
I want Lance
It would be
Lynn back.
it would be 3 here. He would feel comfortable in St. Louis. He'd go back to double D's. bar that's closed now, just like he did 12 years ago. He'd be right there.
We've brought in guys before the trade deadline as really hamburger helper for the rotation, just trying to stretch it out.
J-Hap.
And they've been good.
Lester
was a 5 ERA.
I mean,
when they got him.
and they've been good for whatever reason. And if you took all the guys who were potential for bringing in outside, like a known quantity with this huge contract and that you're not going to get, Lance Lynn, I think, would have the best opportunity to come here and be effective.
Why's that?
Well, I watched him at the World Baseball Classic, and he was really good. I don't know what's going on with his mechanics. There's a lot of bad things that are going on with that White Sox team, but sometimes a change in venue does change a guy. And the Cardinals, if you look at track records of things that have gone wrong, finding pitching before the deadline may not be what everyone wanted. I'm not saying it was glamorous, but the guys have come here and pitched pretty well. And one thing Lance Lynn gives you is innings, and as John Mozeliak put it when they brought in A.J. Przinsky, was need a rusty nail once in a while. Lance Lynn is a rusty nail.
Plus,
I'm not
he's
saying,
fun.
Yeah, fun.
He's ornery. How about this? Would you rather right now, and by the way, I want Matthew Libator to get a look, more for next year. But if you're telling me who's getting starts, is it Lance Lynn? Is it Libator? Is it Adam Wainwright? I also would bet on a Lance Lynn resurgence if he left Chicago.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying he'll be Cy Young, but I do think if you get him out of there, he could be back to a pretty dang good Lance Lynn.
And I understand the easy thing is to go, his ERA is 7. I get it. But you're not going to go out and get a Cy Young winner right now if you're the Cardinals. So you're looking at options that can possibly help the rotation, looking at the past, guys that have been good, and guys who have a track record of the guys available. I think he has a shot.
By the way, that post game, courtesy, I'm guessing, right, of Bally?
Got to give them a big shout out. Big shout out to Bally.
I wasn't sure if it was Solomon.
Can I do you have the bite from Mozeliak?
Well, hold
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Can I just wanted to say real quick. By the way, I think that the reporters did a great job. I thought there were a lot of fair / tough
you can hear 'em,
questions,
too.
good answers. Even if you don't like his answers, Ollie explained his thought process throughout all of those. And I'll just bring this up. We could do it as a quiz. If you look at the Cardinals' top relievers, so the guys who have made the most appearances, what do you think? Who do you think has the best ERA? And what is it? Just take a guess.
I'm trying to think because I just looked
In the
at this, but it
bullpen?
changes so
In the
much.
bullpen of the guys that actually pitch a lot. So not somebody who pitched one game like Packy Naughton.
I would say
Randy?
Packy Norton.
Well, no, I was saying don't
kidding.
bring him up.
No, I was joking.
Okay, I'll tell
just
you.
do it, yeah.
So Ryan Helsley's hurt. Despite what you think of Ryan Helsley, and there's been some blow-ups a la Gio, he is still your best reliever. He's not healthy, and we don't know when he's coming back.
He's just starting a throwing program.
There you go. I think that's also part of this problem. Even if you say Ryan Helsley, he's not the guy last year who was frickin' unbelievable. He's still a valuable reliever that was pitching high leverage, which means now you're having to have Gio and Jordan Hicks pitch those. You're missing one of those guys. Now the Strattons and Verhagens of the world are having to move up. My point is, Ollie doesn't have a lot of good options. Verhagen, 4.17 ERA. Hicks, 4.05, obviously much better lately, so he's
It
fine.
was like 6.
I know, so he's been better lately. Gio, his ERA got blown up last night. It was actually okay. I mean, when you're a reliever, you give a 5 spot, it's hard to come back from that. But Gio's ERA is pushing 5. Genesis Cabrera, 5.02. Chris Stratton, 4.19. Andre Palante, 4.03. And then you get to Helsley, who's hurt, who has a nice 3.24 ERA. They don't have any relievers that aren't just, from an ERA standpoint, guys. That's basically every time you go out there, you give up a run every other inning. That's essentially what Ollie is going to in the bullpen, except for Hicks lately has been really, really good, but he was bad early. My point is, what are his options? Again, he's like, that guy's not a good matchup, but he's rested. Gio, in theory, is better, but I got to throw him every frickin' day.
Yeah.
There's not any options. This is why at the end of the day, you can blame Ollie, and I have, but at the end of the day, this pitching staff, starters, relievers, they are a bad staff, and it's not early anymore. It's halfway through. They are a bottom third of Major League Baseball pitching staff.
And I will say this about Helsley, because there are times where he's given up. This guy's terrible. No, he's not. Like, a closer is going to give it up once in a while. And Helsley has value. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know in this city, he's always hurt. He can't pitch 3 games in a row. That's all true. The knocks are, I get it. But he has value. When he's healthy, you use him the way he's best. And sometimes that means he's not going to go back-to-back, or he's not going to go 2 innings
He's
for a
different than
save.
Hicks. Yep.
Like, we've seen Hicks saying, I want the ball. Helsley's not that guy. At least he hasn't been this season. So the latest on him is that he starts a throwing program, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. 2 weeks of that. He ain't going to be available for another few weeks. But that does hamstring your bullpen. The bright side of it, and if there is a bright side, is that without Helsley, Hicks has really emerged and gotten himself back on track. If you have both those guys, maybe the outlook for the bullpen's a little different. But right now, I agree with you, it's dire.
I think that's the toughest part about the loss is that you feel like you finally got a lockdown guy in Hicks. He's been unbelievable the past week. It's awesome to see that, like Jim said, he's emerging. But there's been, 16 blown saves or 16 blown with the bullpen just in general, where they've had the lead and then they blew it. There were a couple games I was looking at that I've gone by, and this might be nitpicking, but these are the games that the Cardinals lost that good teams usually hold on and win. So I'm just going to go down them real quick. I'll start with the season opener against the Blue Jays. They were up 9-8, and then Helsley came in and lost. So it was only a 1-run lead. Then that game against the Angels, you remember when Trout and Ohtani, I believe, hit the back-to-back home runs? I know Trout hit one, but that was really Gallegos, one of his first opportunities that he got. Didn't get it. The Tigers, they were up 3-2 against the Tigers on Cinco de Mayo, ended up losing that one. That was when Marmol got tossed. They lost to the Guardians 4-3 when they were up 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Helsley gave up 2 runs. Jose Ramirez got a RBI double. That game against the Pirates when they were up 5-1, and then the Gio pointing up. And then the Giants with Yastrzemski. When Yastrzemski hit 2 home runs, they throw in Matz. He implodes in the 10th. And then last night. So I'm not here to say, you know what, if all those games would have gone the other way around, then we'd only be down 2 games, 3 games. But realistically, if you even take half those games and say that they would have won those, we'd only be talking about them being down 4 games or 5 games. And that's the difference with these good teams versus these bad teams. Like, these good teams, they close it out. They get those games.
They locked out.
Yeah, exactly, and they go in and they get it done. And it sucks because Hicks has been awesome, but I remember just looking at the score last night on my phone, thinking, man, if we can just get to the 9th inning once Hicks gets in, because honestly, if Hicks does not walk 4 batters or hit them, then you feel like you have a legitimate chance of him closing it out.
What are you gonna say, Charlie?
So randomly, the other day, I was talking to the great Kenny Wallace, and we were talking about the Cardinals. And this was a week or so ago. So it was before they actually went on this little stretch. They were decent through London, or the first win against Astros. I think they were 5-3.
Yeah.
When they were really struggling, he was just saying, it just seems like they have so many leads, and they blow so many games in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And so I started looking up stats. And so I just looked up blown saves leaders by player. And if you look in Major League Baseball, Gio Gallegos has 4. He's tied for 3rd. Ryan Helsley also has 4. He's tied for 3rd in baseball. And Andre Palante is tied for 9th with 3. So the Cardinals in the top, tied for 9th in Major League Baseball, they have 3 guys. They have 3 guys that have blown saves. We're talking the leaders in baseball. And those are also, to me, we always talk about this with closers, but sometimes when you blow these leads in the 7th and 8th, it feels like you blow it in the 9th. When you have that lead late and you're handing the ball off to who you think are your best relievers, or they are on paper, those losses just hit a little different. They're crushing losses. And it does seem like, especially Helsley and Gallegos, they have been on the mound for some crushing defeats.
Yes, they have.
This season. And they have.
Get him in, by the way.
Can I just say this? So, the bullpen has not been good. It's been one of the many things the Cardinals, because you can look at the starting rotation and find stats to say starting rotation's not good. That's where they lose games. Then you could also look at the way they play defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I agree, the bullpen's not been good, but it's a symptom of an overall team that isn't good this season. And there's a lot of different areas you can point to. And to me, like, the defense in the outfield has been really poor this season. And you talk about, whether or not it's Ollie's fault. There are times Ollie has to choose, well, I want to throw lefties in the lineup to go after this guy. Well, you got to sit Jordan Walker because he's not ready to, do I play my good defensive outfield? Do I play the lefty overload? Or do I worry about offense? Like, there's a lot of decisions he has to make, and a lot of things haven't worked out.
And that's why, at the end of the day, again, I don't think Ollie has done a great job, but this is way more on the front office. This starting rotation is really bad. The starting rotation ERA is 4.85. That's 25th. That's 25th out of 30 teams in baseball. So the bullpen's actually better than the rotation, but that's not saying a lot. And then the roster doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. You actually have a lot of good players. They all kind of play the same position. You don't really have a center fielder. You have 47,000 outfielders, but you don't love any of them. You love Jordan Walker and you love Gorman long term. They're both blocked at the positions they should be playing, and they're blocked by Hall of Famers in Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. So you understand. But at some point, you have to basically make some deals to make your roster make sense. It shouldn't be every night, where are we playing people defensively? Like, you should actually, whether you have to add or subtract folks, it should be easier for Ollie to basically type in 6 names every night and worry about the other 3. Not type in 3 names and worry about the other 6.
I get you.
And one of the things that, they talk about, should Goldie be traded? I'm against that. I don't think he will. I think there's like a 2% chance. I think that's off. Same with Arenado. Because I also think that the Cardinals can be decent next year. Yes, that's rights holders talk. But those are building blocks. You have elite players. And I understand, well, where you put Gorman, where do you put Walker? Give Walker an offseason to work on playing outfield for the time being. I think he'll be fine. He was learning on the job. And the guy is an athlete. I don't know anyone that says he's not an athlete.
Oh, he can run, too.
He can play outfield. He just needs time. And Gorman's been okay at second base. I think you can work that out. I would be opposed to trading Arenado, Goldie. The Goldie thing is kind of swirling around out there. We talked to John Mozeliak about the trade deadline approaching, and no, I didn't call him names or punch him.
No.
But he said some things that I found, it basically no answers, just wait and see. Let's hear from Mo, courtesy of Bally's.
I think a lot of people look at the trading deadline sort of.
Hey, y'all, it's Garth, the Big 615. You're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. That's the thing we call the Big 615.
Download the free TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. Or ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Hey there, it's your friend Stormy Warren here, and I want to invite you to my new home, the Big 615, exclusively on TuneIn. So what is the Big 615? Well, simply put, it's the official home of country music broadcasting live from Nashville to the world. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Get the latest on country music, from your favorite artists to the hottest songs climbing up the charts. Oh, and it's commercial free. That means a whole lot more music and a whole lot more country. Hear it all on the Stormy Warren Show, weekdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. And I look forward to having you join me on the Big 615.
This is your country station.
The Big 615.
In 3 buckets, right? You're either a buyer, a seller, or a hold. And I think for the Cardinals right now, we're going to be in the 4th bucket, and that's a little bit of uncertainty. And I think, are there some things that maybe we could do right now, meaning in the next 30 days, that could help this club get over the hump? Those are things we want to consider. We also want to understand what it might look like to try to help improve this club for the future. So that could look like trading for some prospects that you could add into your system, but it could also mean, adding some players that could help contribute right away next year as well. So we're going to look at all of that.
So they're going to look at all that. So there's 3 buckets, but there's 4 buckets.
So we'll see.
It should be 5, right, Jimmy?
But he basically said, look, if we think we can win the Central, we'll move in on this season.
Here's a question.
But we can't. He also said this, which I think I saw on social media anyway, a lot of backlash. He said, just asking for patience. He has said that before about whether or not the team will win. He meant, in this case, not to defend the play of the Cardinals, give them a little time to see what the team will do before they decide which bucket they are.
I'm in the 5th bucket.
1, 2.
I want that 5th bucket, baby.
It's a bucket of beers that I'm drinking every night as I watch this team blow lead after lead after
Gosh dang
lead.
right I am.
Can I just say, though?
Last night was a different bucket.
It was tough. But I also think, here's why we were talking about this off air. I don't think Goldie is going to be traded. Now, also, if you're thinking about that, you also have to be thinking about, are the Cardinals going to try to re-sign him after next year? Okay, if they are, then you shouldn't trade him. If they're not, then it's interesting to me from this standpoint. I say this because you have Jordan Walker. I do think he can play outfield, but long-term, I do think he'll be a first baseman. I think Nolan Gorman will probably be a third baseman. He could be a first baseman, DH type. I just don't think long-term he's going to play second base. Here's the question we got to ask ourselves for next year. The Cardinals have 2 starters under control. It's Steven Matz, who's in the bullpen, and it's Miles Michaelis. Now, we'll see what happens with Jordan Montgomery. They're not bringing Adam Wainwright back. Maybe
they should.
Maybe Matthew Libator starts the season in the rotation. We'll see what happens. I don't think you can have any confidence of what he'll give you. Do you really think the Cardinals are going to spend on 2 $25 million pitchers this offseason? Do you really think that's going to happen? So my question, I say no. So my question then is, how are they going to get this pitching? You need to figure out the pitching. The offense isn't actually that bad. It's about top 10. I think the offense could still be top 5 in baseball. Give them these summer months.
You're talking about next season.
No. They're top 10 right now.
No, I'm talking about, are you looking ahead to next season?
I'm also much higher on, you still have Goldie next year. You have Arenado for about 4 years. You have Walker for forever. You have Gorman for forever. You have Brendan Donovan, long time. You have Mason Wynn. That's a lot of position players I'm very excited about. Tell me the starters you're excited about.
Well, they know they have to get started.
But how do you get them? Because they're not going to spend for them. If you think the Cardinals are going to get Aaron Nola and Julio Urias,
Rodrigo,
they're not. So the only way is probably to make a big trade, honestly.
First off, I think the Cardinals are aware. I mean, this year they banked on Flaherty, who, when right, is an ace, right?
4 years ago.
In hindsight, it's a mistake. But it's not like they didn't have a plan. They thought Matz would be a middle-of-the-order starter, which he has been, and they thought they'd be all right and score a lot of runs, but they would have an ace and really a number 2, like in Michaelis, see what Waino is. And they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough depth to get through it, and Flaherty was hurt, and he hasn't been the same. It hasn't worked out. Next year is totally different because they got nothing coming back except for 2 starters. You mentioned Michaelis and a guy who right now is in the bullpen. They're aware of it. I just don't think to get guys who – I'm not saying you're going to go out and get Scherzer, but they have pieces where they can bring back a solid starter or 2.
In a trade.
Yeah, in a trade.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
it has to be Goldie.
Okay, they need to do something, though. There's a million outfielders. All I'm trying to say is
they need to get it right if they're going to do something, too.
And also,
signing Matz was a mistake. He's been injury-prone most of his career.
Yeah, and guess what?
And Flaherty is not an ace.
At this point,
there's too many things that they did that were wrong.
He was.
Yeah, but with Matz, you have to eat at this point. You're 2 years in, so it still makes sense next year to give him a shot. To be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if Steven Matz has a good season because that's Steven Matz. It's usually 1 good season out of 3 or so, and it's an injury the other season, and it's underperformance. He's not a consistent pitcher. He never was in his career. If you look at him with the Mets and the Blue Jays, he's not a consistent guy. So Steven Matz could find it next year, but still, I think slot him as the 4-5, Libator 4-5. If you like Michaelis as your 3, who's the 1? Who's the 2?
They got to find them.
And it's not easy to find those guys. And if you try to find them in free agency, you're spending $25 million a year for an Aaron Nola type who may be great. I'd love if they did it. A lot of those guys also, you get hurt, and you're in your 30s now. You're 30, you're 31.
My only point is I agree with everything you're saying. I just don't think you have to give up Goldie to get a guy. I'm not talking about a number one that's the best in the league. I'm talking about a front piece of your rotation. They have pieces, I think, to do it. You got to find the right guy. You got to find the right deal. It ain't going to be easy because there's not a ton of those guys.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be Goldie. But I think sometimes we all do this. It's a fantasy football trade. Let's take our 5 worst guys, our 4 guys on the bench, and our flex. And, oh, no, we're trading you 5 for 1 guy, for Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way.
It's always the last place guy getting the proposal.
Yeah, you're not going to get any of these pitchers that are really good unless Mason Wynn is in the deal, right? Mm-hmm. And, again, I only bring up Goldie because he does have tremendous value. I still don't think he's going to be moved. My point is, if you want the elite pitching, we're not going to say, well, if we give them Tyler O'Neill and Alec Burleson and Luke and
he
Baker.
He had a hit last night.
No, like you have to give up your legit. You have to give up a Mason Wynn.
They're not going to get. They're not going to get.
That's my point.
Mason Wynn is their shortstop.
So my point is, how the hell are you going to get these really good starters?
It's a Goldie.
Well, Jim already indicated earlier in the show that we don't need to bring in proven guys because the Cardinals are so good at rehabbing guys who aren't that good. Right? That's what you said during the Lance Lynn discussion.
No, well, actually,
they have a track record the last couple years.
Actually, what I'm saying is about this year, if you're trying to fill out your rotation for this year, not as a long-term fix. So I think you misunderstood my point about Lance Lynn, and I know his ERA is 7.
Cole, by the way, I like that you took the shot at Jim.
That's
keep
not
doing
what
that.
we're talking about.
But my point is, listen,
I was supporting you in that argument, Charlie.
I know. Okay. It's all good. We're joking. We all crushed the Cardinals. They're bad this year. You also can't ignore the fact that they literally picked up Wade LeBlanc, Jay Happ, and John Lester, whose ERAs were 5, 6, and 7. They all were pretty damn good here. Last year, you picked up Jordan Montgomery
and Quintana, was their best guy.
And they were damn good. So you can. And by the way, Lance Lynn, it'd be more for fun. But again, it would not surprise me if 7 ERA Lance Lynn goes somewhere else and becomes 4 ERA Lance Lynn.
Don't focus on my God. That's going to save the day. I'm saying if you're going to go out and get an extra pitcher, I think he's got the best upside based on track record, based on it's not too far removed from watching him at the World Baseball Classic, looking like the old Lance Lynn, and the fact that everything has gone to crap with the White Sox. Maybe that's a factor too. But I do think there are other guys. Like I'm not saying they're going to be traded. I want them to be traded. But a guy like Brendan Donovan or Tommy Edman, they have value. I'm not saying you're going to get them straight up for a great pitcher. I'm saying they could be part of a package that could bring you a good starter. And it's going to be tough to part with those guys because they're both really good players. But in a way, as you try to piece together your roster, in a way there's some redundancy with them.
I agree with that, and that's why I love Tommy Edman. I love Brendan Donovan. They're kind of the same guy, so if you trade one of them, it's okay. There's all these outfielders. At this point, just trade 2 of them. Mm-hmm. You know, whoever it is. Tyler O'Neill, Alec Burleson.
Newt?
Well, Newt has ridiculous value. I mean, again, Newt is a guy. If you traded
maybe
Newt,
trade him.
Then you get good return for Newt. He's young, he's good, he gets on base, he slugs, he plays defense,
he's good.
And he's got a lot of years of control. But do you want to lose Newt?
No, I don't want to lose Donovan or Edman.
But maybe the only way to get the good pitching for 2024 is to trade a Donovan or a Newt.
That's what I'm saying. They have pieces. I don't like calling names because then it's like, oh, Hayes said they should trade this guy. What I'm saying is, as Charlie just said, they have pieces that can bring back value. I'm not talking about taking your worst player and thinking you're going to get an all-star pitcher in return. They have pieces. They have pieces that are kind of the same thing. You know, they have a lot of outfielders, and I think they have enough value to get some in return. They just got to find the right deal and the right guy, but I think it can be done.
Get them in. Get them in now. 855-282-8255. The weekend is coming, and we got a 4-day weekend, baby. Let's go. Let's see here.
May I add one more thing?
Yeah, what's up?
I just want to say I think Carlson or O'Neill could be, whether it's a package deal or if they just do that straight up, a deal with Carlson or O'Neill for just a relief pitcher, and maybe just try and get a little bit more depth there.
Look, Stratton.
The starting pitching has not been great, but it's gotten better.
Okay, but
I've been seeing.
But Seth, it's awful.
It's not good. I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about the alternative. If they don't go out and get a starting pitcher, at least get a relief pitcher. One or the other.
And to be honest,
I'm not saying that they should get a reliever over a starter.
Well, they need
Either or.
they need
a couple
literally
things.
3
They need
starters
everything.
and 3 relievers for 2024. I'm not going to be this person because you can write off the Cardinals. We do it all the time. I'm still telling you they're going to find a way to go 6-1, and they're going to sniff being 5 games out because you just know they always do that.
When, July or August?
I don't know. But my point is I'm looking more to 2024. Me personally, I just don't think, even if the Cardinals would be able to just squeak in the worst National League Central ever with a 79 or 80 win season, they're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
I agree.
So to me, it's more I'm trying to figure out 2024. So are they. They're smarter than I am. It's going to be difficult.
That's part of what, are they buyers or sellers? They're going to be both because they have definite needs for next year. And if there's deals that help them this year and next year, they're going to do it. The other thing is with the bullpen, too. If you have a healthy Helsley and an emerging Hicks, that does kind of change the outlook for the bullpen, too. Both those guys are effective. And maybe one of those guys are trade pieces. I don't know.
Well, Hicks, are you going to re-sign Hicks? Is Hicks going to want to hit the market? Does Hicks have the most value he'll ever have right now at the trade deadline, and he's a free agent? Probably makes sense to trade Jordan Hicks this year.
If you're Hicks,
trade him.
If you're Hicks, you want to hit the free agent market now.
And you also maybe want to go to a contender and dominate in the playoffs and
get
then
more
get
money.
paid.
Yeah. This show is going to be very good for a year because it's so much better when this team is awful, and they will be awful all next year, too. I cannot wait, Wombat. Winning the division would be bad for them. Front office needs a kick in the ass, and winning their garbage division would give them another pass, the all-knowing expert.
I kind of agree with that.
That's what I've been saying. The fans want this team to lose because they don't want them to hit the exact same ceiling that they've been hitting, and they basically want the organization to embarrass themselves into a position where they have no choice but to make a big overhaul one way or another.
A full year.
I agree with that.
Change the model.
A full year of St. Louis fans wanting the Blues to lose and then the Cardinals to lose in the same year. It's god awful.
But not from the beginning. Only when it made sense at the trade deadlines.
I know.
I never rooted against any of these teams. I always want my teams
because it's better
to win. But
they've been bashing the Cardinals since the offseason.
Okay, but still, let's be real. Let's be honest. No one ever thought the Cardinals were going to be this bad.
Come on.
I did not think the Cardinals were going to be this World Series winner. I still thought they'd probably win the Central and win close to 88, 90 games. No one thought they were going to be this bad.
Everyone picked them to win the Central. Okay, I mean, that's just honesty. You can say the Central's terrible, the bar isn't high enough. There was some of that. No one saw this coming. In hindsight, if you're a hot taker, you knew it.
All knew it.
No, I'm not saying you personally, but I mean, go back. I think I said 91 wins. I think everyone was like right around 90 wins. Now, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing.
What did I say?
You can act like
No.
We're going to go back and clip off everybody's record
No, he's
predictions.
always more negative.
No, I remember doing that. I think I said like in the 79 or something.
Okay.
I was negative Nelly that day. Look
All
at
right,
me now.
then you were right.
All right, we'll find out on All-Star break.
You were right, but
Yeah, came up.
But
you like that, baby?
Yeah.
So I mean, as it stands now, you're in the lead position, but there weren't many people that thought they'd be awful. But of course, in hindsight, everyone knew it.
Of course they did,
Here
Jimmy.
you go, Cam.
How do you like me now? Now that I'm on my way. All right.
Oh, and at this point, I should say, I was saying buy stock in Zach Thompson, Tyler O'Neill, and that Dakota Hudson would be a viable rotation depth piece, not in the rotation. And I was wrong on all those things. So I have to say that before the touchline.
I said Juan Yepes would get 20 home runs. That's an L.
You did say that, didn't you?
Is he going to get 20 hits?
Yeah.
I love the chirp at the rights holder, Cole. Keep them coming.
All right.
Get him.
Yeah, call him out, Cole. That's exactly what he said, Nebraska.
Also, Lance Lynn's ERA, a source to say it's 7.
Hey, by the way, is it fair to say, though, that if you look at the Cardinals' stats this year, is it not fair to say that I think nobody saw the defense and the base running being this bad, right? Is that fair to say?
It's never been.
It's never been. Okay. No one saw that. The offense, again, which is around top 10, I do think most people thought would be top 5. And you can say I'm crazy. I still think it might be. Summer's just hitting. And this team is putting up 7 in losses. This team can hit. And you got Gorman and Walker adding to Arenado and Goldschmidt. It would not surprise me if the Cardinals are top 5-ish in runs and OPS at the end of this season. We'll see. They're top 10-ish right now. But I do think the pitching, is it a little worse than I thought? Yes. But I don't think anybody thought it was going to be good.
Nope.
To be honest.
That's why when we're running down all the blown saves, yeah, that's a big piece of. But the rotation has been wildly inconsistent, and things like defense, when you have guys finding their way for the first time in the outfield, playing different positions, make your defense not as good, which is a staple of the Cardinals. And for whatever reason, the base running wasn't good. There's so many things you can look at as to why the season got off the rails.
We crunched the numbers a few days ago on High Noon, and just to speak to the inconsistency of this team, they're averaging over 7 runs a game when they win, and when they lose, they're averaging less than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But they have to score.
So
That's the
hot
thing.
and cold.
This starting rotation and bullpen now, because overall they are a bottom third pitching staff in baseball. They essentially have to score 6 runs to win on a lot of nights.
Let me get a couple of these in because they're going crazy. Here's a different one. Don't like talking about the other radio stations and other shows, but the Fast Lane played the lineup game yesterday afternoon, and it took them every bit of 20 minutes to guess yesterday's lineup. It's so confusing day to day. Glad you guys don't do that. No, we don't do that.
But that's also the point of why I don't blame Ollie as much as Mo.
Yep.
I am saying Ollie is to blame, but not as much as Mo, because if you can't figure out the lineup, neither can he. Oh, it's matchups. Everybody's hitting 230. Oh, matchups. That guy can't play defense, but he hits versus this guy. You should have 6 of your guys plug and play. You should worry about the other 3 with matchups. The Cardinals have the opposite. There's like 3 guys. Okay, Goldie, Arenado, whoever's going to play shortstop, catcher, and then who the hell else am I going to play everywhere else based on matchups? And I don't like very many of my options.
Why was Walker held out last night? A 21-year-old who has had 3 days off in the last 7 needs rest? Question mark.
It wasn't a rest. They want to get as many lefty bats in there as they could. And you know what? He has a 16-game hitting streak. He's hitting 382 with 4 homers over that stretch. How could you keep that guy out? Legitimate question. I was wondering too. Yeah, we wanted to go matchups, and guess what? They got a lot of hits.
Didn't he get banged up or sick or something too?
He wasn't feeling great, but he was
there
ready.
Something getting passed around the team in London?
Yeah, but I think he was fine.
Passed around.
But it was basically trying to get the lefty, and guess what? It worked. They got a lot of runs against this guy, and everything was set up for a win. Like there was but then Nolan's backlocks, and then Gio it was a bad loss.
And that's why. Listen, I thought the post game was hilarious. Again, I bring my wife over. She's like, "This isn't funny." Well, it's funny to me, okay?
I know,
Jess, because
she's not gonna think that's
I
funny.
appreciate the banter between reporters and managers. She's like, why did you really think this was going to be interesting to me? Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
But my point is, when Ollie says, "Guys, when you score 7, you got to win a ball game," he's right.
No doubt, man.
He's right. They scored 7 runs. Scored 7 runs.
That's why to say, well, why wasn't Walker in there? No, they got 7 runs. It worked.
And they
should have won.
How about this? Walker hits 2 solo bombs. They lose 10-9.
Yeah. Kat, has this been the hardest season to keep up the rights holder speak? It has to be exhausting for you, Wombat.
What's rights holder speak? Well, give me an example.
Give me an example, Wombat.
Because I want Lance Lynn?
Go ahead. What are you going to say, Cole?
I think just generally your takes are more glass half full while everyone else is more glass half empty.
It's even me. I think usually I'm pretty glass half full. I just think the Cardinals are really bad this year.
Well, that's true. I think you're.
Who has more in the glass?
You wanted to get rid of Hicks. He was awful.
Look at this mug.
Right?
What's it say?
But then what happens?
It's half full, you jerk.
Then what happens? Hicks is good, and you pretend like you never said he has no business being on the roster.
I never said that. I never pretended like he.
I was like, when did he say that?
I thought he was terrible. I thought he was worthless.
Score more points to win the game.
Seth.
Hi. Cole's like, wait, I'll see you guys later.
I gotta go get the door for her. Open the door for her.
Yeah.
Come on, you
Open the
gentlemen.
door
Go
for
open
her.
the door, you jerk.
Open the door for her.
I opened it.
There you go.
I thought Cole was going to run and get it
Dang,
like
you
usual.
literally open the door for her. Didn't we have this conversation with Tuna?
Just as a show of dominance, you wait for him to get up and go, and then you open it yourself.
Dude, yeah, exactly.
And by the way,
I like that, though.
It's great that players can overcome earlier poor performances, but Jordan Hicks was really bad.
Yeah.
Give him all the credit in the world for figuring it out, but he was really bad. Even Paul DeJong. I'm so happy Paul DeJong is back in the bigs, being productive. Hopefully gets a contract next year somewhere. Paul DeJong was on the cusp of not being a big leaguer. He figured it out. I'm glad about that. But also, the last couple of years were really ugly. So we can't act like it didn't happen.
I didn't say it did, but there's
I'm
a
not going after
I know
you.
you're not. But there's a difference between taking a guy who has – I got chirped for saying Hicks, when he's right, has unbelievable stuff. Yes, he's had injury problems. He's had control problems. But there's still something there. You can't just get rid of him like everyone wanted. Same with Paul DeJong. Like, I understood he's got a contract. Will he make it back to the bigs? Maybe not. But there's a chance. He proved a lot of people wrong. Now he has value. All I'm saying is that it's easy. I'm not saying you did this, but it's easy to say, that guy's the worst. He has no business being on the roster. And then when he finds it, to pretend like you never said it and move on to kill the next guy.
And
I did
Cole,
half of that.
Okay, but here's my point. I saw this a lot in the offseason. Just get rid of Paul DeJong. Just get rid of him.
Yes.
You're already paying that money. So here was the philosophy that made sense in the offseason. And by the way, he's been better than this. If you're the Cardinals, you're already writing the ticket for $10 million, whatever it is. At worst, if he could be a bench guy, that's your backup shortstop, that's better than nothing.
Exactly.
He's now your starting shortstop. Nobody's going to want to give you value for a $10 million shortstop that hadn't hit in 3 years. Like, we're smarter than this. And guess what? Paul DeJong has had a nice season. It makes no sense to get rid of that person. You're already paying him the money. Jordan Hicks, you're already paying him the money, and he's a free agent to be. What, you're just going to kick him off the team?
Kick him.
It makes sense to allow him to try to figure it out.
That's exactly what I said in the past about that, and then I'm the right.
No. But, Kat.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
listen, hold on, listen. This is where you and I are united. It's only crazy people that disagree with that. And there are crazy people on Twitter, and then Adam Wainwright deactivates. I see the crazy people on YouTube, but and maybe Cole's a little crazy.
Go put
but
him
Cole
down,
does it.
Chinatown.
Cole does it for show content.
That meme is
He's
going,
smart.
If he gets ran early in the game, it's going right back up.
I want something
It's going
from you.
right back
But
up
Kat,
tonight.
you
And
know-
it's staying up.
Cole is a hot taker too.
Yeah,
I love it.
But I think he does it. He's
just
actually a
pretend like-
smart guy.
He
though.
is smart. I
love it.
And he's entertaining.
But
I'm
Kat,
not killing him. But
you know that 95% of Cardinal Nation agrees with what you and I just said about DeJong and Hicks. It's the crazy people, and we should not really focus on the crazies.
Listen, I've been at this a long time, so I don't really care what someone says on Twitter or the text line. But I do point out that it's easy for guys to say, they're the worst, get rid of them. And the text line, you're speaking the truth. You're the man. The rights holder's wrong. And you feel good. You feel empowered. But that's not really the mainstream thought process because people understand you're paying the guy. It might feel good to you. Get rid of him.
Yeah, kick him.
But Kat,
lock his dog in a hot car.
Take
so
him
hold
out
on.
back.
Hold on. That was a shot at Cam then for reading those texts.
No, it isn't.
No, I gotta
Because
read
you
it.
said
I
that-
read them
No,
too.
he wants
But
me
hold
to read
on.
them.
But you said you shouldn't be affected by text line, Twitter.
We all know I'm reading
Yeah,
the text.
settle down,
baby.
Cam.
I'm reading the text.
No,
these are my people.
I don't know if you, and we can probably go to the tape. When there's someone attacking me, sometimes I read it because I want it all to be read because it's part of the show.
how it
And if
goes.
someone who's listening, thank you for listening. We love all our listeners. Wants to rip me.
Not all of them.
That's part of the show too. I embrace it.
And you can call in and we'll answer. That's what we give you here. We're
Call
open,
in,
baby.
big man.
Call in.
And if someone takes the time to send in a text, it should be read because those are our customers.
yes.
They have something they want to say.
Dang
and
right.
even if it attacks one of us, that's fine.
I'm trying to help you out, man. I'm trying to help out.
I'm like Cole. I don't need
No,
help.
you. I think you're close to probably deactivating your Twitter because this.
Oh,
is getting
you
to
better not. You better
Are
not.
you going to deactivate?
Feel free to donate.
What's
me
Cole
your
going to tweet
$80,000.
tonight? What's Cole going to tweet
Oh,
tonight?
what type of picture?
What he?
By the way,
be
There's gonna be-
creative.
here's the
there's gonna
goal.
be a blindfolded
I hope he
By
gets
the
lit
way,
up.
here, promise you this. What time is the game? 6:45.
Yeah, give me another Beyond Awful.
By 6:45, Cole's going to have 2 tweets in draft.
Yes.
2 different pictures. One for if Waino pitches well.
Yes, he will.
One for if Waino pitches poorly. He's going to have him in the chamber, ready to press send the second Waino gets out of the game.
What are you going to tweet
I can do it
tonight?
now.
What are you going to tweet
You were going to
tonight?
do it anyway.
That's funny. Jimmy Fila is wound up today. Angry old guy.
Jimmy.
Cole back there.
Because of the sock?
Yes, because of the socks.
I like that joke.
Can I
Jimmy
say, though?
Fila. Jimmy Fila.
Go ahead.
This is where I laugh about this. It is good for the show because I think you and I think very similarly
We do.
about the Cardinals. You get all of the shrapnel, and I think it's for fun. It is Bally. But I do think, and I'm not saying you really take this home, although you do take pictures of the convenience store. But my point is, like those people on the text line, you know that you're right.
Yeah.
You know that.
And he knows that.
And you know that 97% of Cardinal Nation knows it makes no sense to just cut Paul DeJong before the season and not at least give him a chance to figure it out. It makes no sense even when Jordan Hicks' ERA is 7, even if it was being sent to the minors and figuring it out. It makes no sense to just DFA that person.
No, it
who,
doesn't.
by the way, now you're going to get, if you traded Jordan Hicks to a contender, you're going to get a nice player in return. It's stupid to even think about.
It's stupid.
Oh, let's DFA him.
DFA him.
You know,
more important,
you know that
I like that he does the country voice.
come on. We shouldn't even
DFA him.
besides doing impersonations, we should not even mention their
Charlie.
DFA.
Charlie, I disagree. I agree with everything, but there's a bigger thing. Do you agree with the feel of socks being terrible?
I think the feel of socks, it's more fair to rip on you for that than baseball takes. Because, again, I laugh. You and I essentially say the same thing. That's why he gets mad at me when really he's mad at the text line. Him and I will say the same thing, essentially, maybe a little differently. And I'm like, Charlie says that because it's the text line. I just know the text line, they go after you, it's Bally's, it's fine. Okay.
It's fun. I don't care. It's fun.
Okay, but I think a little bit every once in a while.
It's good for the show.
I also think that most texters do it sort of in a.
Of course they. No. 99.9% of them.
I mean, they like me more than you, but yeah.
It's all good.
No, because there was a poll.
There's a poll and you kind of won.
I destroyed everybody.
Hey,
and the one that you cheated?
Ballot harvesting is legal.
DeSantis just said he was going to do it the other day. He should.
It's campaigning.
Did the Democrats do it?
I was going to say,
First of
maybe
all,
just no one else campaigned.
No, it's literally.
There was an unwritten rule.
No. If there are laws in states of what you can do, both parties should do it until you change the laws.
I agree. That's why I ballot harvested. And
right.
said who's up for some ballot harvesting. So it was a legal win.
No, but you can't claim that win. Really, you're going to claim that win? Come on. I don't care. You'll take a picture of the poll later, and you'll bring it in the next day.
Lock DeJong and Hicks in a hot car with Charlie's dog and let them fight for survival. That's a good idea. Woo! And in prior years, I would imagine a player's reaction to being traded to the Cardinals would be like, oh, cool. Now, I think the reaction would be like, oh, crap. It was funny, a couple guys last night that got drafted, they thought they were going to go higher, and they got drafted by, let's say, Columbus or something instead of Anaheim.
Oh,
yeah. Like, cool. Yay. I wanted to go there.
Oh, do you really?
Arizona. Yay.
Let me ask you this. An honest question for the dais. Do you think let's say it's the MLB draft, which, by the way, that's coming up ahead of the trade deadline, and teams are putting a lot of their resources on that, and that's when the trade market starts to open up. But if you're a player drafted, and you're drafted by the Cardinals, based on all the success the franchise has had over the years, bad year this year, are you like, oh, I wish I wasn't? I mean, honestly,
no effing way.
Hold on.
No. He's asking me. I'm telling you. He's asking me, and I'm telling you. If you're drafted by the Cardinals, you are on cloud 9. I don't give a damn what they did this year. I don't give a damn what they did last year. You're walking in that stadium with 40,000 strong. Are you kidding me? They are pumped.
Here's why I disagree. I love the Cardinals. I think they're a great organization. They always win. You want to be drafted by a huge market team that signs huge free agent contracts, and the Cardinals don't do that. All due respect.
How many teams are there that do that? How many?
I'm saying.
Well, how many though?
Okay, but hold on. If I'm a big time prospect, who's gonna give me 30 a year? Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, maybe an Angels,
Mets.
Maybe a Chicago team, Mets. My point is, listen, the Cardinals do it their own way though. But if I'm a kid and I'm trying to get paid, I want Yankees, I want Mets, I want Dodgers, I want Angels.
Could be a lot.
I want
My
Phillies.
point is, you got a handful of those guys, but Cardinals are right there. They're right there.
Yeah, you could
There's
say
so many
Dodgers
bad
or
teams.
Mets. I get it, but I will say this.
I'm just saying.
But as a young
you want
guy,
to get paid.
As a young guy too, it's still a process to get to the majors, and you're getting a giant sign. Like I think you think of it one step at a time. I'm getting this giant signing bonus. And I'm with the Cardinals, a team that traditionally is in it every single year. I think you feel pretty good about it.
I think you're right.
Were there teams you would be more excited about?
Sure.
Yankees, Dodgers?
Sure.
Maybe.
Cat
But
just
you'd
spin
be pretty
doctored that.
tight.
Damn right. I agree with that.
Cat spin doctored that. The text was about if you got traded to the Cardinals right now, you're not feeling very good. And Cat said, well, if you get drafted by the Cardinals, you feel
No, I didn't
great.
say it was the same thing.
You gave like
Little Miss can't be wrong. You spin doctor. Little Miss can't be wrong.
You gave yourself about a 5-6 year window of the Cardinals figuring this out.
I didn't say it was the same thing because we just had the NHL draft. I was just putting in a different context. It's not a spin doctor.
Glass half full.
No, actually, it's not. I mean, you can say it was and give yourself a W, and that's fine. But I was talking about a young guy being drafted like we just had in the NHL draft as an overall feeling about the organization. Again, I'll say it again. This season has been awful for the Cardinals. I'm not saying it's great. And if you want to win this year, you're probably thinking there are a lot better places to be than a team that's having an awful season. Context-wise, they're always good. They're always in it.
There we go.
That's it.
NHL draft, though, a little different. Salary cap. Yeah. Everybody kind of spends the same.
Yeah.
The highest contract is kind of the same. Baseball is a different stratosphere. By the way, there's also places you want to go to for just lifestyle reasons.
San Diego.
And all due respect, I love
Mike
St.
Stanton.
Louis. I love St. Louis, and I live here. Have been for 15 years. And I'm sorry, folks, I'm not leaving. But there's a lot of places if I'm 18-year-old.
I agree with that.
I don't want to go to St. Louis.
I agree with that. But as far as the organization's concerned, man, you're pumped up to put that the birds on the bat. I'm telling you.
Of course.
Let's just see the Coyote kid that got drafted. Let's see his reaction. Well, there you go.
He looked miserable. He's like, I'm going to play in front of less people.
But you're in Scottsdale.
I get that. But at that time, you're partying anyway. Like these kids are looking to play hockey, and they want to play in front of fans, and that ain't the case down in Arizona, and it's shaky as hell down there, and you're playing in front of less people than you were the year before.
Cam, you know I'm right about this. St. Louis is the best. Listen, tell me if I'm wrong. St. Louis for an athlete is the best place to play when you turn 30.
Yeah, it's pretty dang
That's
good.
100% true. They all come here, they stay, they live, they start a
Or if you're
family.
from here.
They're 30 and they're boring, but nobody wants to be here when you're 20 through 29.
But no one,
if you could pick.
If you're a 20-year-old and you're drafted, you're not going to come to St. Louis right away. There's
Am I wrong,
a
Cam?
process that
Cam, am I wrong?
There's
Yes
a
or
black
no?
cloud over this town compared to other lovely places that you could play. Don't get me wrong.
Are you saying, okay.
No, I'm
So
agreeing
Chicago,
with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, so now
Cam
every
says
city
he
has
wishes he
crime,
played
by
for
the
the
way.
Winnipeg Jets.
Every city has crime. L.A. doesn't have crime. Chicago doesn't have
know.
crime. New York doesn't have crime.
What are you trying to say?
What are you saying?
You said
if you're a 21-year-old
I
kid,
agreed with you.
You want to live on the coast.
I get
you
that.
want to get paid.
But you're also looking at the organization.
I disagree.
Too.
I
And
think
this
they want to go to Wheelhouse.
There's
Tin roof.
There's 50.
Yeah, there's no wheelhouses in San Diego or L.A.
Hey, a wheelhouse is like walking down the street. Those girls are everywhere down
Chicago in the summer. How about Miami? Just literally walking to the grocery
I'd be
store.
pissed if Cardinals
Thank
drafted me.
you.
Now that I
Cam,
think
you're
about
the
it.
only one here that was drafted.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you
You're
thinking
happy,
about, like,
dude.
you have to get there?
I wasn't even
Right?
thinking about if
That's what-
Jersey's hard to drive. Was
That's all
anything
I'm
of
saying.
anything.
If you
Okay,
think you're
but you
part of a good
also- hold
organization,
on.
you're not thinking
Again,
about where I'm
not at
going to
all.
party
Spin doctor.
because you're not there yet.
Spin doctor, Little Miss can't be wrong. We
Little
did it
Miss-
again. We're talking about the big dogs that essentially every team wants you. All I'm saying, by the way, I'm from Ohio. I love it. Nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
Oh,
Nobody
hell
wants
no.
to go to Columbus.
Oh, hell no.
All due respect.
No, dude.
Cole, my sister lives there. My point is,
Cole's like, what?
if you have Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Pittsburgh, you don't want to go to those places if you can go to L.A., New York, Miami.
San Diego.
Come on now.
I already said
All I'm saying.
there's places like New York or Dodgers, but of all the rest, I think St. Louis, based on the fact that it's a pretty solid organization, it has been. And I understand the people that hail from Ohio because the teams
A lot
are
of weird
awful.
things are going on.
No one wants to be drafted by one of those MLB teams.
A lot of weird things going on.
Ohio's awful.
Interesting. The Cleveland Indians / Guardians have been to a World Series more recently than the Cardinals
And the
have.
Guardians also do not spend money, and they somehow figure it out.
They're going to give us Shane Bieber for free. For Alex Burleson,
for Tyler
straight up.
O'Neill.
By the way, I get that Burleson doesn't
He's
have
fine.
a
He's
lot.
fine.
Doesn't
He's
have a lot of
fine.
value.
He's just a guy.
He's a
We
guy.
like him.
No, but
Big Belly Burley.
Here's what I'm saying. I think
Burger phone.
he's probably not in the long-term mix.
He could be.
But
he's good.
But I do think that he's going to eventually he'll be a good player. Now I'm not saying all-star, but I kind of like him. First of all, I root for him because he's fun. He doesn't look like the prototypical athlete.
Oh,
but
that's shaming.
But he hits the ball hard. He hits the ball hard, and he's got a pretty good plate discipline. I know he's hitting 220 or whatever it is. I think there is an upside with him. I'm not saying his value or that you have to make space for him. I say I kind of like him. That's all.
I do too, by the way. I would throw him in. Mosaic said there's 3 buckets. The Cardinals are in the 4th.
Yeah.
I'm in the 5th. I'm in the 5th bucket.
Last night we saw the 5th bucket.
I ordered the bucket of beers to drink because that's the only way I can watch the Cardinals. Then there's the 6th bucket. The 6th bucket is Luke and Baker and Alec Burleson. They're both going to hit 23 bombs for the Oakland A's before they move to Las Vegas, and then they're going to go to Japan, and they're going to make tons of money hitting 37 bombs
Let
a
me
year
ask you
in
guys,
Japan.
Do you agree, though, Luke and Baker has to be moved now while his value's high?
Are we going to get back to that?
Hey, let
Are
me
we going to get back to that? Hey, guess what?
You'd be lazy
That's where
not
they were
to.
both wrong.
You'd be lazy not to.
They were both wrong.
You'd be lazy not to.
Luke and Baker. It's going to be 103 tonight, and we got a 41-year-old on the mound.
That's okay. Old people like the heat.
What's going to happen to him tonight? What's going to happen to him?
Pick his line. Let's all. How about this?
Yes.
Because we all make mistakes, and then we never go back. Everybody right now has to say innings pitched,
Yep.
earned runs. Is that enough?
Yes,
Yes.
that's all.
That's fine. Innings pitch, earn run.
Strikeouts?
No,
For
we're just
fun.
doing
I mean, if you want
innings.
to, for fun.
Just do
Cole,
it.
go.
1 horse, 1 blindfold, 1 shotgun.
Whoa! Wow!
But give me
He
a line,
is ready
though.
to tweet.
Okay, but give me the line version of that. Give me the statistical line version of what you just
You
said.
can't even submit that answer. I wouldn't accept it. It's got to be a number.
Put him down.
I'll say somewhere between 4 and 5 innings.
No, just exact.
Exact.
Give me outs. Give me 4 1/3.
Give us
a damn
innings
question.
and earn runs.
Jesus
That's it. It's
Christ.
simple. Innings, earn runs.
God.
4 1/3. 5 earned.
All right, that's
Not-
it. That's all.
Jeez.
Okay, Cole. Seth, you're up.
You're not as smart as I thought you were.
5 innings, 4 earned.
I work in radio.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
That's
Okay.
lazy.
What do you say?
So, Cam, go.
What do you say?
He said 5 innings, 4 earned,
That's what
which
I
was
was gonna
going to
say.
be my answer.
That was going to be mine also. 5 and 4.
I'm going to go 6 and 2.
Wow.
See how I do, baby? You see what I do, baby? I got you guys all
Okay,
wound
he
up.
just got now.
Pat, go.
I always
6 earned and 2
honestly,
innings.
I was going to say 5 and 4. That was
Positive Cam.
what I had in
6
my
and
head.
2, baby.
But here's the thing: I always root for the Cardinals because I'm a rights holder.
Yeah.
I personally like Waino, so I'd like to see him pitch well. But now
We all like him.
But now, well, listen to me. Now I'm rooting for him more than I ever have, even in the postseason, because I want him to prove Cole wrong.
Are you still going with 5 and 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not changing just because other people said it. That's what I initially thought, and that's what I'm going with.
They got to give him 5 so he can be eligible for the win.
What do you
if they're
gonna
up
tweet?
6 to 4.
What are you going to
So I'm going to say, I am going to change my answer, and I'm allowed to. I'm going to say he gets into the 6th. I'm going to say he goes 5 1/3,
Then explodes.
gives up 3 or 4, but then leaves a man on, which will be credited to him when the reliever obviously blows it. So 5 1/3,
Obviously.
5 earned. I really want to say 4, though.
Well, say what you want to say.
what you wanna
I can't be the same.
Man,
Yes, you can.
do whatever you want.
Okay, 5 1/3, 4 earned runs.
Why would when the question's asked and you have in your head 5 and 4, why, because someone else answered it, would you not want to give the same answer?
Because tomorrow I want somebody to actually win and not to be a tie.
You're big with the W's.
Yeah.
Well, I get so many.
Oh, wait.
Charlie is right. Folks, it's out there on the Hot Take Central Twitter. Drop us your prediction for Waino's innings pitched and earned runs tonight.
But he's going to see it, and then he's going to pitch worse if he sees it.
Yeah, Stern. No, he's not seeing
And
it.
then you know what I'm posting.
I know you are.
By the way, I
Put him down, baby.
did
Beyond
talk
awful.
to a player off camera. I'm not going to say which player it is.
Interesting. So, Kisner, go ahead.
That was what I was going to say.
It was not.
I'm just joking.
It was not Kisner. And I was asking about Waino, and he goes, "Yeah, it's bad on social media." He said, "I have it, and I usually just look at things in my burner account." And so a lot of that. And he goes, but mostly he said it's not like I'm checking on myself. He said I have like a lot of outside interests, and I want to look on Twitter without people looking at, oh, you follow this, or I just don't need people in my business, so I have a burner account.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. The same dorks who chirp the cat for rights holder takes are also chirping his mic techniques. Holy hell, it's so tiring. Move on already. What else is he supposed to say, Sharon?
That's different, though, Sharon. All due respect. The microphone is different than the Cardinals takes.
Yeah.
I can't be with you on that one.
Listen here, Ohio boy. Let me tell you what's
Ohio
really going
man.
on here. All right, let me tell you what's really going on. We have a battle between Seth and Cole, and though Seth disagrees with me on certain things, Cole more so lately disagrees with me. I love them both, and I want to make sure that Cole, despite the bad placement in the rotation, gets to talk when he wants to. So I'm constantly looking at the dais to make sure that I'm not going to step. The only one I want to interrupt is Charlie.
I noticed that day one you made an effort to look at me just so I could feel included. I noticed that in the very first day.
And I do that with Seth also. I probably call on Seth out of the blue more than anyone, but because I'm looking around the dais, my head's on a swivel. I want to keep the show moving. Sometimes I'm looking away. I want to get Seth involved early today.
Who gives you more fist bumps? Come on.
Oh, let's see.
Let me just tell you something, too. Cole and I have private texts, by the way.
I'm sure you do.
We do have a private alliance a little bit.
What the hell happened to all the drops? They've been missing all week. Come on, guys.
Because they want to talk.
Talking, yeah.
Well,
no,
it's one or the other.
No offense. The
No,
drops
listen.
come before
Tomato,
you guys
tomato.
talk.
What do you want?
This
The
is
drops
where
come
That's
before
the
you're
problem.
talking.
That's the problem. Here's the problem. Seth and Cole, they want our seats.
I know
they
they
want
do.
our chairs so bad that they want to talk. They want to be hosts. They don't want to
What
do
a plot!
drops.
What a plot
They
twist!
throw papers at
No.
each other.
Drops come before.
Seth and
Hold
Cole
on.
sitting in Charlie and Cam's seat.
Yeah.
Hold on.
2 years from now.
Hey, by the way, next month, Cat is gone a lot. So you guys, this is your opportunity. Unless we get a call from management, this is your opportunity to
it is.
shine.
Oh, I saw the schedule.
I got a road trip. I got the Jersey Shore, and then I got the Hall of Fame thing with Roland coming up. So I'm going to be out a
Look at
lot.
you.
Charlie's going to be out for a month.
But hold on.
For a week. I'm sorry. For a week.
Yeah, and I made sure the Cardinals were in town, by the way, when I took my vacation.
Well, you're a good person.
Because I'm such a
did.
great person.
I'm going to give you a fist bump on that, but I would like you to not speak and you to not speak while the big boys talk for a second, if I may.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, okay?
See you guys.
It's going to be tough.
Okay.
It's going to be
So
tough.
we have a situation here that I've noticed. I know you've noticed it. No droppy, more talky. Now, I get it that these guys are jockeying for kind of host supremacy between those two spots at the expense of drops. Yeah. And I feel this way. Drops are more important than hot takes because you get enough hot takes from us three. I like to hear from them,
I agree.
but not at the expense of fewer drops.
I don't know, though. Listen.
What? Excuse me.
Yeah.
God.
We're kind of doing this on the air again, but I do think for a while there was an issue with multiple drops being played at the same time while the hosts were talking.
Yeah, but people like that. They say they like that. You know what they don't like? When they don't drop.
Okay, but drops are also, there's sneaky value.
Well, there's a problem when you don't have any.
I agree with you. But these guys are
Less
trying.
talky, more
these guys
droppy.
are trying to
She
get
was
their own
just
shows.
stuffing her face.
You know what?
Hey, well,
you know what? I hate to say it.
All right. I don't want them shallow hose.
We
I'm a grown man.
This is what you want?
We-
What you want?
Open
There's
to
a
most
balance,
things.
Cole.
Learn some style.
All right,
go.
kill that
All
for a
right,
second.
all right.
There's a balance.
We are the St. Louis Cardinals in that the Cardinals have a situation.
We're better than them.
Maybe not. We have a situation like the Cardinals. Okay, do we put the good defensive outfield? Are we going for offense? We got guys, we got to play them out of position. Right now, we have a board op and a producer that want to talk. We have a lot of drops. We have three hosts that do interrupt each other.
Yeah.
We're kind of the same thing.
Three hosts interrupt each other?
No, what I'm saying is that one of us has to be traded.
We're doctors.
Exactly.
Wait.
But he's a new guy.
How does this work?
He's a new guy.
I get beaked early in the show because all week I haven't been talking enough, and now, Colin said all they want to do is
Hey, I
talk.
can
They
relate.
just can't stop talking. What the hell is that?
Well, it's you're not talking and he's talking, and then you're talking and he's not talking, and all we want is a balance and play some drops. You guys could chime in.
This is why we need an alliance to some
we
degree. We
need
don't have to love each other, but
less
we do got to
talky,
work together
more
to
droppy.
make the show a little
He doesn't
better.
want to have an alliance with you, Seth.
There's something
I
there
know.
with Cole.
I mean,
Something
how many
I know.
times does a girl have to turn you down for a date? It ain't going to happen.
You can't reach for it.
I don't want charity.
Okay.
I think
That's
Cole
a drop right there,
because
no one
Cole
mentions
has his own show, Cover 2. I think Cole feels like he's above board ops in general.
Oh, he's turning to Nate.
As a board op.
Oh,
Even Joe Davis, he probably thinks that, Joe, I'm the host, you're the board op. Is that true?
No, I run the board on that show.
Okay. Never mind.
Good job, Charlie. Spicy show today, Clumpy. Multiple drops are organized chaos. It's organic. Thought of old boat shoes Marlowe had a sense of humor. Lemmingwings.
Wait a second. I don't have a sense of humor, or I do?
I don't know.
No, you don't.
You don't.
And he called you boat shoes.
I did buy boat shoes at Aldi
Boat
once.
shoes are damn good.
Now I'll get them at Schnucks.
You hear that, Kate? That drop can be dropped anytime, anywhere. It's the best one.
I will say this. I did agree with the no flip-flop or sandal.
Yeah.
I don't even like at the beach flip-flops.
No, they're a pain in the ass.
Now, I will get killed for this, but I don't care. Like, when I'm at the beach, I wear Crocs. You know why?
Because they got the back part.
Yeah, they stay on your feet.
You can't.
I don't care how it looks.
Those are fine.
Those are fine.
Oh, dude, for kids, by the way,
Yeah.
I wish my kids would all wear Crocs all the
Tyler
time.
does.
So you don't have to do the ties and all that.
Hey, can we go to break?
Wait, I have to.
Go
This
ahead.
is an important
Go ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
This is important. So everyone listen to the radio.
Then I have one more thing after that.
There was a time that Crocs were in danger of becoming cargo shorts, right? Because there was sort of a collective feel in society that you couldn't wear those anymore. But Crocs have made a comeback. I'm still waiting for cargo shorts to do the same.
Yeah. Well.
So do I not have a sense of humor, though? Is that the take?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, no, is that true, though?
No, you have a great sense of humor.
Okay. Well, sometimes though, you think different. Like, you think about yourself, but everybody else thinks differently. And I think every
Charlie's
once
talented.
in a while, you need to look in the mirror and make sure you are who you think you are.
Yeah, but don't let the text line get in your kitchen. I feel bad for you. They're kind
Yeah,
of
they're all
going
weird.
home. You're asking your wife, honey, am I funny? The text line said I'm not.
You know what I do? I'm going to go home and take a video of me being funny and bring it back on the show the next day.
That's what you do.
Good.
And
That's how you prove facts.
We'll play it over and over again.
Charlie, I've said this all along.
Wow, what a great audience.
You are really funny and smart, and you're one of the best follows on Twitter, even when you're hot taken.
I think Cole's
Wow.
better.
Thank you. And I think you're very good at your job. I do.
Okay.
I think
All
you're
right. All right,
funny.
you too.
I think your sense of humor skews older than mine, but you're still very funny. I think for the most part, you tell the truth.
Colton Carragher
The
tweeted
most
at us.
part. Who did?
Colton Carragher tweeted at us. He goes, 0.0 innings pitched, 7 earned.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's the thing. It could be.
Could get
it
lit
could
up.
be 2 2/3.
Could be Daddy
7.
Padre down in Nashville.
I love Waino. I hope he does well.
I hope he does.
But there's nothing that he's shown me this year that makes me think he will. That's the problem.
There is always that thing, though. He's been written off like 3 times.
All right. Hey, let's go to
Charlie
break.
and I should do a show alone
Let's
without
go to
these
break.
deadbeats.
Let's go to break. Let's go to break.
I don't like talking that much.
No doubt.